Well, hello there. My name is Dave Vila. I want to welcome you to this new edition of News and Views broadcast by Access LaPorte County on Public Access TV Channel 99. We are a weekly public opinion program addressing local, state, national topics and issues of interest to the Michigan City and surrounding areas. Opinions are the views and the responsibilities of those making comments and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views of this program or its, right now, by co-producers. We will adhere to broadcast rules, but absolutely no one's First Amendment rights of freedom of speech or freedom of the press will be either muzzled nor denied. Any unauthorized use of accounts, descriptions, and events of this program without the express written consent of Tony and I is strictly prohibited. We hope you enjoy the program, the discussion, and the participants. Ladies and gentlemen, I had a deja vu experience yesterday that literally choked me up. Okay, I was driving back from Crown Point on Highway 51 going north through Hobart, and I passed past railroad tracks, and there were people lined on either side of the railroad tracks, and it just dawned on me. I heard that that a train was coming through. Well, the name of the train was Big Boy, and it was Big Boy. Number 4014. And I stood alone. I was within, between here and the camera, what, 10 feet? I was that close to Big Boy. And it literally choked me up. I took my shirt off. I waved at the engineer. I listened to them blasting the air horn. And it was on its way west, I guess, to where it came from. But I couldn't get over that experience because it brought me back to when I was about 9 or 10 years old. And in LaPorte, going through the city of LaPorte, there's New York Central used to go through with the old steam engines, and I had to go across the tracks to be able to go to a parochial school that I was going to, and it reminded me of what happened. What, 75, 80 years, about 75 years ago, when I was a boy. And it put me in a cloud, so to speak. What I'm trying to point out is that sometimes we have to sit back and we have to recognize our past. We've got individuals here in the city of Michigan City who've been associated with Pullman, of which this young man's father was associated with Pullman, and we've got a lot of railroad history. I brought 3 lanterns. Today's kids don't even know that there used to be a caboose at the end of a train, and a signaling mechanism. Because I don't believe they had cell phones back in the 50s. The signaling mechanism between the caboose and the engineer were lanterns, and different colored lanterns. And here we have one here from, this is from the Dressler Arlington, New Jersey Railroad. This particular lantern is from the Monon Railroad. This lantern here, that baby is probably over 75, 80 years old. And this lantern is from the New York Central. When, I've got more lanterns at home, but I just picked out the dustiest ones. But just the reminder, that deja vu moment brought me back to when I was a little boy under the Christmas tree, when I got my first Lionel train set that circled around the Christmas tree. We as individuals have to sit back and give the past a little thought and recognize what the past has provided for us today. We take our experiences of the past and invest them in the future. And I'll tell you, I was in La La Land. I was just so choked. I was talking to an individual on the phone, and I had difficulty talking to him about this subject. It just hit me. I was never hit by that something. For a guest today, we have Mr. Paul Przybylski. Bob is on extremely special assignment. I don't want to go into detail, but the last thing I heard was that he wanted to take his Mercedes down to a car show south of LaPorte at that
The museum.
at the museum. They've got a car show down there, and so maybe he prioritized. I don't know, but he wanted to take his car down there. Except he had a problem. He couldn't get the hood of it's convertible Mercedes, and he couldn't get the top up. So maybe he's drenched somewhere between
We hope not.
here in LaPorte. Gentlemen, Tony, take it over.
We'll leave it over to you guys. Have issues here. Michigan City's got. Thanks, Paul, for coming. It's been a while. I'm so happy to see this individual. He's at the meetings.
Thank you. I've been at, well, all the meetings concerning the sanitary district. And I would like to add some information with with Dave and what he was talking about, the history of railroads. A lot of people forget that the history of railroads actually opened up the country and helped expand the country, expand us industrial-wise, and played a big role in the country between the Civil War and the say the early 1900s. No, I'll take that back into the 1940s. Mm-hmm. The railroad had a great influence on the Civil War, and I'm not trying to get under anybody's skin, but it had a big part of expanding the country to the west, a major one. And a lot of these locomotives, which they call chugger engines, are still used today in industry. And I'll tell you, we have them out at the steel mills. We're moving molten metal and other loads out there, the coke that comes in. So what Dave was referring to with the lanterns, that we used lanterns years ago at the steel mill. We didn't have radios or anything of such, and we had to have a specific signals, and we had to know them for the oncoming loads coming in of hot metal. But I was that individual that Dave was talking to, and he had a real, I wouldn't say it, deja vu or flashback moment, but when you get those moments, you need to reflect on them, and I think that Dave did a real good job, and I'm really amazed that he has these lanterns, especially one from the Monon, which a lot of people don't even know that the Monon Railroad had a spur coming all the way into Michigan City to deliver rocks to unload in barges to take them out and to do a lot of the rock work around our breakwaters in Michigan City and this part of the Great Lakes. Okay,
Let me interject a little bit.
All right.
Again, a lot of our viewers, younger viewers, might not know that the South Shore used to run down the middle of Franklin Street in the early 20s.
Yep.
They're just
Actually, used to be a double track.
yeah.
South Shore used to be a double track.
It used to be a double track, and then they tore it out on 11th Street. There was a double track, and then they tore it out, and then they went single. Now they're back to double again, and there's just so much railroad history out there that again, I'm a pack rat. When I have an opportunity to save something, I'll save it. And again, these are sort of dusty. I guess I've got dust on my finger right now because I just took them right out of my display. But again, it's memories. And sometimes we have to sit back and just reminisce once in a while to say how we have progressed. From minimum wage of 35 cents an hour to right now in the state of Indiana, a massive $7.25. I mean, that's progress, ladies and gentlemen.
Well,
Tony?
Well, we're getting progress. Here we go. You're going to get some progress with. We talked about this for weeks. Michigan City Water.
What type of progress?
Michigan City Water, Michigan City Sanitary. We got a wheel tax. What else do we got?
Well, an IPSCO rate increase,
IPSCO rate
license plates,
License plates. went up.
7% sales tax, a wheel tax, water bill is going up. Water bill. Your water bill out there, you're not aware of this, but in the next 3 years, you will be paying roughly 64% more on your water bill. That's compliments of Michigan City Water Department. They had a meeting. They had a state Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission came down to Michigan City on the 6th of January. And guess what happened? They had a public hearing. Guess how many people showed up? You can count them on a hand plus one. Am I correct?
About just 3.
Only 3?
We were told
What?
3 people showed up.
3 people. 1.
I guess they don't mind 64%.
A sanitary bill, according to my statistics, that I was there and Paul was sitting behind me, but he has contradictory figures, so we'll work it out somehow. Sanitary bill is going to go up roughly $36 a month in a 2-phase approach. This is according to Wendy Bichette. And then we got the school referendum.
Forgot about that. 80 million.
I bring it down to the little guy who's on a limited income on Social Security. What did you say? I heard
Oh yeah, they're going to raise your Social
Security is going to be raised
$74.
$74.
So maybe you could pay for these.
And the accumulation of this water bill and the sanitary bill just might eat up your increase in Social Security, your Social Security check. Then, of course, we got spring and fall taxes. And the last thing on your tax bill that you don't know anything about is there is a $76 special assessment. Now, that special assessment amounts to a portion of that special assessment amounted to, over the last 20 years, amounted to over $40+ million that went to the Michigan City Sanitary District. And what did I'm going to say it again, $40 million plus $488,000 or something that went to the sanitary district over the last 20 years. Now, who was superintendent of the Michigan City Water Department during that time when that money became available to the city of Michigan City? Any idea? Do you know?
I have an idea.
Who?
Mr. Al Wallace was the superintendent for 10 years, from the year 2000 to 2011. So in that time period, that would be roughly over $5 million that came to the sanitary district. So what happened to that money?
For 11 years? What did you say, Tony? To get
500,000 a year.
500,000
a year.
A year.
a
So
total.
that's at least
$5.5 million?
$5.5.
About $5.5 million.
So am I correct in the Michigan City Sanitary District, under the umbrella of Mr. Wallace, got in $5.5 million while he was superintendent
Yes.
For stormwater.
for stormwater,
Ditches to bridges.
but yet the remediation of the ditches, maybe back then the trees were just saplings, and maybe Al didn't want to cut them down. Maybe that was the case. Now, they're 24 inches in diameter, and a portion of the city of Michigan City, the southwest side, still doesn't have separated sanitary sewers from storm sewers. So what that means is all of the rainwater that comes down Ohio Street and then is funneled under the Monon tracks and it just is dispersed throughout the southwest corner of Michigan City, ends up in the sanitary drain of the city of Michigan City, and then it is pumped to the treatment plant. And so that not only the area of the southwest corner of Michigan City is, the sanitary district is remediating the effluent from the bathrooms and so on, it's also remediating stormwater, because there's no separation of stormwater and sanitary. That puts on the sanitary district an additional paperweight, that maybe if there was a separation of water and sanitation and stormwater. Maybe the sanitary district wouldn't have to use so much pollutant or so much chemicals to remedy the water. I mean, they could say, what am I trying to say?
Save money.
They could say,
treat it.
yeah.
They don't have to treat it. It'll be pre-treated.
And there'd be a separation made. But yet, in looking at this rate increase, do you know that the Michigan City Water Department wants to build $1.5 million water tower south of town? There's already one on Paz Road at ground level, but
Yes.
they want to build another 1 million gallon at ground level on the south side of town. They want to build 2 water receptacles south of town.
I think one north.
One, what do we have north? We've got the one on Springman.
No, they're talking like a 212 and Tryon. No, 212.
They're building one there?
212 and Mir. Oh, I wasn't supposed to say anything.
No, okay, if I may.
Yeah.
Things come across my desk. I guess.
I heard something in a presentation at the one meeting, but that we were at that sanitary meeting because it was so long that the superintendent of water was talking about what they were doing. But I caught something that he was talking about annexing. So there's something going on behind closed doors that they're not being transparent about to build that.
Okay.
Is it 1 million gallon?
One is 1.5, and one to build a new 1.5 million gallon storage tank and booster station, and then to construct a 1 million gallon elevated storage tank on the city's south side. There's funds that the water department is going after. There are some lead pipes. Obviously, we have to.
No.
That's a health hazard, so it has to be addressed.
Right. That's not a.
But I didn't know that the water pressure was so low on the south side of town that they had to construct a new $1 million elevated storage tank on the south side. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. Look, that is the. I think somebody's got ambitions that they're not being forthright and being transparent and coming and telling what their plans are, because
Well, I've got them.
you can't annex anything on 400 because that's already been gobbled up by the county redevelopment commission.
That's just already
And you
tipped.
can't mess with that. And I think where can you go? So if they need that much water pressure, why did they extend the line? How did they extend the line to Beverly Shores? Or is now it's deficient, and out to Pine School, that they have to reroute, or they didn't plan good enough on their system? Because I remember years ago that we had to put a new line in on the south end on 400 to create, they did not make the system a loop system. And a loop system is a must for water pressure and fire protection. So what I'm getting into right now is that this annexation that they pulled in 2019, and they never asked one question to the developer to annex the parties that wanted to be annexed in. So they were not liable for extending or participating in extending services out to their, I think it's 380 acres or something like that. But what I'm getting at is that the city has, and the sewer department they ran a sewer out there and they ran a water line out there, but they cut it short and they did not make it a loop system to save $1 million.
Deadhead and everything.
Okay, and that's when they reduced the overall cost by $1 million. They did not make it a loop system. But the thing is the people who were there in 2019 3 of them are on the city council right now. And as far as I'm concerned, they're talking about impact fees now through the sanitary department, but they aren't moving that along first and prioritizing that before these guys get, start doing whatever they're gonna do on that east side annexation. So you need to put your priorities first. And the priorities are, they need to establish impact fees for subdivisions, for things like this annexation on the east side of town, because they're talking about a huge amount of development in that area. So, the bottom line is that somebody in that planning department has not been doing their job. And I looked through the whole minutes of the hearing for that annexation, and no one asked one question about what the city was responsible for in that annexation. And under that annexation, the city's responsible for streets, sidewalks, curbs, gutters. I mean, it's if you read it, it's unbelievable.
Okay, here, the impact on residential monthly bills. Okay, for a typical household using 4,000 gallons of water, which is equivalent to 535 cubic feet of water per month, the basic water charge would increase sequentially. Current rates are $23.09. That's what the current rate is. Okay, this three-phase program will then increase. What is 65% of 2309?
65% increase of 2309?
65% of increase of 2309.
That's 1569, isn't it?
Well, we've got, Tony's got his calculator.
See how close I am.
65%?
65%.
Go up to $38? $15? What you were saying is $16.
So you add those two together. That's what I'm leading up to. 65.7. The water bill, your water bill is going to be increased 65.74%. And the current rate is 2309.
23.09 times 1.65. $38.
Okay, so your water bill will be $38. Your sanitary bill will be $36. 38 and 36 is what, 74? Look, ladies and gentlemen, within the next.
How much increase are they getting in Social Security? Oh, 74.
Hey.
I wonder how they knew that.
How did that happen?
Here's the whole thing. They, as far as I'm concerned, as being the fiduciary body of the city of Michigan City, they have not been doing their job. They have not. There's been no discussion on percentages, what's going on here fiscally in these houses, and I just think that the city council they just been sitting there and voting yes, and no problems, no questions asked, and
Easy.
And Dave, you know, we've been to some of these meetings is that they're not even transparent. They cut you off before that you can speak or ask a question.
And an interesting point at the meeting, at this rate increase meeting that you all and I attended, Brian Dabney, who I gave paperwork acknowledging the sanitary district getting that $40 million from the county. I gave it to him. He got up from his seat in the audience and walked down to the podium, and he approached the sanitary board and Paul. And didn't he say that he would be honored to sponsor this ordinance? But yet, who is the city council's liaison to the sanitary district? Who is it?
Councilman at Large Don Przybylski.
So he sits on the same side of the dais as as Don sets, but yet he wanted to authorize this, this resolution to increase the,
Well, he said he supports it.
no, he said he wanted to be the sponsor of it, the way I took it. Didn't you take it that
Well,
way?
I haven't seen it. I think, I don't know if it's been delivered yet, so I haven't seen it.
Oh. Well,
But
I took it that he wanted to sponsor it, and he sits on the city council of those 9 people. You mean one council member doesn't know the structure, the responsibility of another city council member? Shouldn't we sort of work together in a cohesive manner to make something happen in this town?
You might think that, but what I've seen is that these people are not about being transparent and even trying to answer a question, and not even. And I'll say, like, I've asked Councilman Don Przybylski to have another workshop so that he can control it and not having it set up by the sanitary district and then cutting you off and
Which they-
cutting
which they did,
everybody
which
off.
they did.
Okay, and the whole thing is this, is that those people are voted on and hired to do the best in the interest of all of the citizens of Michigan City. And by gosh, I don't think they're doing it. Because they want to cut everybody off. And you know what I'm getting at, that in the council meetings of the past, that somebody, like, say you had something like this come up and somebody asks a pertinent question, they'd answer it because they know it. I don't think they know it. I don't think they take the time to research to answer.
Could be right.
All right? Seriously. So the point I want to make to the citizens, they voted on the 16th day of December, 2025, by a vote of 9-0 to spend or authorize the Michigan City Water Board to seek a $60,500,000 bond issue. So you're going to be paying out. That is going to hit us, and we got to figure that out.
Now, say that again, Paul.
$60 million.
Who approved it?
Council.
The council.
Resolution in December.
The resolution's right here.
But isn't that supposed to go to IURC?
Well, that's a resolution. Now they have an ordinance.
Yeah, they are applying to the URC.
Oh.
They are applying to the URC. Okay, and I got to tell you, you can go back and look at the minutes, but that, geez, oh, Pete.
I think basically what we're trying to say, ladies and gentlemen, is that every Tom, Dick, and Harry association, water department, sanitary district, streets now, anything that is not under the purview of the city of Michigan City, these auxiliary boards are running like, including the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission. Everybody's running in different directions. There's no continuity.
So this year alone, you're looking at a potential $240 million in bonds between the school, the water, and the sanitary.
Yep.
Where is that money going to come
$250
from?
of $1 billion.
Where's that revenue going to come from?
Where's your wallet? That's where the revenue's coming from.
Yeah, it's coming from.
But yet, didn't the governor say that he wanted to eliminate the fees on houses?
Oh yeah, he wanted to get rid of property taxes and
Get
service
rid of
tax.
property tax. So if you get rid of property tax and you eliminate property tax from you as a property owner, then where is the money going to come from?
Sales tax.
And that's only 7%. And how many millions of dollars?
Oh no, you'll have a special issue on your community. They could craft the legislation, say if you want to do all that's what your sales tax would be in your community.
Let's go back now. And I didn't realize this till just now. Isn't it in Indianapolis's, the capital's best interest to take away property taxes, which are money we collect on the properties we own, and it's re-given us back to us because we know how much property we've assessed in our town or a county or municipality. But now we get rid of that, and it's a service tax. So now Indianapolis gets to decide how much you get. Not the ability of your property values, which you will get to run your city or your county or municipality. Now Indianapolis gets to decide how much money of the pot you'll get.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't realize that till just now. So now Indianapolis has even more control. And in their control, they get to decide how much paperwork you have to fill out before you get your cut of the pot of service tax.
Well, it's just like the way
Get ready.
they changed the road
MVH.
program,
Yeah.
and they changed that, and people were getting less.
And then you had to apply to get more.
Yeah,
You had to beg
yeah.
to get more money. With the less money you got prior to the MVH calculation.
Yeah.
So this is just another transition that Indianapolis gets to now decide how much money you get.
So then my issue with the redevelopment
Wow.
commission, retaining, obtaining 2% revenue on new construction, that is supposed, 10% of that money is to go to the school system. Maybe that source of income that should be going to the school system.
You wouldn't have to have a referendum? Is that what you're getting at?
No. There's state law mandates that 2% of the revenue derived from new construction within existing TIF districts goes to the Michigan City area schools if they request it. They have requested it, but they have been turned down by Schuyler York and the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission, another non-elected board. They're appointed board, just like water is an appointed board, sanitation is appointed board. You don't have elected individuals there making decisions for us taxpayers. And like I said, where is that money going to come from? Well, I've got a wallet here, and it ain't very thick.
So there's going to be more separation between actually having something quantifiable that we pay taxes on and we get back into to run our government. Now that we've taken away property taxes, which I don't agree with property taxes, but now there's more separation between the link between the value of your town and how much money you're going to get back to run your government. Because now the money's going to go down to Indy. They will take the calculation and decide how much you get back.
Yeah, just like I said, that glass of beer, when you get a glass of beer with foam on top of it, you get, somebody comes like with a scraper and scrapes the foam off, the foam off of the top of the glass of beer, and then gives you the glass of beer. That foam is retained by state of Indiana.
Well, the glass of beer has got more foam in it now.
Well, I didn't figure. Yeah,
They get to decide how much of foam you get.
they get their cake and eat it too.
So now we're disjointing ourselves from the capital even more on how much revenue that we as a community grow. We should be able to capture that, but we're not allowed to anymore because Indianapolis will decide how much money of the services taxes you get.
Now you look at the city of Michigan City with all of its, the mayor promotes, oh, we're building like 2,000 new homes, available homes for future residents to come in. Well, they'll be paying taxes, but they will not be paying property taxes. Am I correct?
If that legislation goes through.
Yeah.
If that legislation
So, I mean,
will go through.
this whole issue is being compounded, and who is the end result of pulling
Us.
us?
We the taxpayers, we the residents, we the little kids going down, or kids going to Mickey D's, they're going to be paying more on all these taxes. But one thing I wanted to get at is this. The Redevelopment Commission supposedly has $18 million
Correct.
right now. Mm-hmm. And that money is and should be used to benefit the city. And what that means is for the water department, the sanitary district, if somebody was thinking outside the box.
Wait, Paul. We built fire stations with that money.
Yes, we did.
Okay, go ahead. So yes.
Okay, thank you. And
The fire station didn't go out for a bond. We built and we bought fire engines.
yes, we did.
So I can't. Go ahead.
well, we could do it still, but we could do it by ordinance form, saying that every year, so much goes to the water department, so much goes to the sanitary district, and they would still have money left over. The thing is, you have to start putting some of the money away. Right now, it's being kept as a slush fund to do whatever they want to fund all these developers, like the Solo project, which a lot of people don't realize that this project was proposed, and then they wanted to make a TIF district inside the TIF district. So all the revenue from whatever was built there would go into financing the building. And this, to me, well, what happened is nobody bought their bill of goods, and that's why that project didn't go nowhere. But
Hey, wait, is the fence still up around it?
no,
No.
but the thing is this. They should be using that money. We're not saying deplete all the money. That right now they could give $2 million to the sanitary district, $2 million by ordinance, specifically setting out what you can use this money for. It would not be a slush fund, and that the language is saying have to go in front of the city council for review.
Oh, we don't want that.
Not the sanitary board, which is, like Dave said, a non-elected board. Okay, appointed by the mayor, be it the newly elected or the previous mayor. But what really gets me is that under the last term that I served, we established a rainy day fund. We established how much money would be put in there from every pay period. Well, when this new mayor came in, they eliminated that language. So you don't have, they just keep drawing out of it, and there's not a step of, oh no, you can't take no more money. It's at 5 million or 6 million. And now that money, if it was there, you could use it also for the water and sanitation, specifically by ordinance. So I guess what I'm getting at is that these individuals are not being very fiduciary driven to work for the taxpayers and the users of the utility. That's why it's a city-run utility, to save money, not like American Water. Okay, they gave us a chart,
Oh, they're hurting in
and
Illinois.
the chart doesn't really make sense because they're trying to say that, oh, we gotta compete with Hobart, Crown Point, and these people, which wasn't discussed, and we couldn't even ask the question because we were shut off at these workshops, is half of their rate is determined by, they use American Water. And American Water is a big company, all right? And that's why you don't want that to happen here.
They're a large, private, for-profit company.
For profit, that's the key word, for profit. So one thing I'm very critical about is this. If this was such a critical point on, they're trying to push the sanitary rate, that they don't have any money in reserve to get financing for bonds. That's why they gotta increase the rates. And it's hard for me to imagine that Mr. Wallace is rehired to work at the sanitary district after the fiasco that I guess a lot of people don't remember it, is the feds came in, they were falsifying documents down there, and the guy who ran the plant actually lost his, what would you call it?
His
Right?
license?
His license.
To run the plant.
And I think he was banned from even trying to reapply. But my thing is, at our first meeting, okay, during that time period, they pushed to do a bond issue to put a tunnel on Lafayette Street underneath the 11th Street tracks. I call it the Michigan City Tunnel. That tunnel, they're still paying on it through the Redevelopment Commission,
I know, yeah.
and they have not used it.
Do you know how much money is still obligated for that particular project?
I think it's in the neighborhood of $3 million.
$2.52 million. This
It's 2024 numbers.
this is 2024 number. Once we get done with this water issue, Tony brought in some paperwork that it's like I got hit in the head with a rock here.
Well, then you take it from there. But all I'm saying, I just want to make one final point. They were pushing this because they had to do this tunnel, but they couldn't do anything with it because the outflow was never approved by the state. And it still sits there because they never had a plan. I think they had under the Perry administration, they tried to come up with a plan.
Michael Cuss tried to do a plan.
And what was that?
Michael Cuss tried to do a plan, a reroute, because
Okay,
you
a
can't
reroute.
take storm sewer and just pump it at Trail Creek.
Right.
It has to be clean.
It has to be settled.
And no one thought before we spent $12 million on a tunnel that
Yeah.
the outlet can't go to Trail Creek.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
So, with that point, at the first meeting that Dave and I went to, I asked that question. I got one question in, and I asked Mr. Wallace, is the outflow approved for that tunnel? The answer was no. So how can you even sit there and talk about doing any of this stuff around the biggest sewer project ever to take all kinds of influence out of stormwater out of the plant, reducing the pressure on the plant? And I'm telling you that we've been following this, and it is mind-boggling the BS they're putting out there. And that's the way I'm going to put it. And now you got people on the city council that say they're critical thinkers. Well, I can tell you one person that wasn't there. Okay, and there was only, 3 people at the first meeting, the first workshop meeting that was called, not a meeting at the sanitary district. Then at the second meeting, there was 3 council members there, but it was the same 3. And then at the latest one, that they gave us a lot of this presentation, there was 3 people there, and I mean, to me it's mind-boggling that you would even put on your list the Barker Lafayette Sewer Project. And
It's a tunnel without an outlet and no way to build an outlet.
yeah, it's really
It's the bridge, it's the tunnel to nowhere.
It's got water in it.
it does have water in
There's
it.
water sitting in there, been sitting in there since forever.
But here's what the other side of this coin is, that I'm not an engineer, but I can understand flow because I'm a millwright, and that people in this area around Lafayette Street running east, and this project is big. It initially engineered all the way out past Queen of All Saints. I asked the question to, I don't know if it's Miss or Madam, Wendy Fauché, how many cubic feet of water will this take away from the plant? I haven't got an answer. I guess I have to file a Freedom of Information Act to get the information. And this is what's sad about this administration.
Okay, as you well know, if you've been watching this show on a frequent basis, one of the issues that I brought up is with the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission is their amount of money that they have in the bank. To my knowledge, right now they have roughly about $13 or $14 million in the bank prior to the spring draw, the June draw that's coming from the county, which amounts to roughly another $4.75 million. This is some information from the Indiana State Board of Accounts that, when did you say it's dated?
This is ending 2024, so they didn't have 2025 up yet.
Okay, well, then ending 2024, I've said in previous shows that the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission is spending more money than they're taking in, and based on this tracking by the State Board of Accounts as of 2024, they were obligated in a revenue bond debt to the tune of $14 plus million. In my mind, which I've got documentation to go back to the Gateway concept. The Gateway concept was set up so that the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission is obligated by state law to convey their financial status to Gateway. Since 2014 till 2022, when I got involved, they made no transfer of how much money they have taken in from 2014 to 2022. But I made a comment that they may be over budgeted. Looking at this particular figure, I think this reinforces the comment that I made, is they're spending more money than they're taking in. They've overextended themselves, and maybe this is why Skylar York, in his ultimate wisdom, decided to not provide Michigan City area schools the money that they were requested.
Well, it looks like they have to pay out $2.9 million a year.
Yeah.
Just to, I haven't looked at that enough to research it.
Say that again, they have to pay out?
It looks like they're paying $2.9 million a year out of their $14 million obligation of their revenue bonds. But I didn't know if any here was the money they backed for the 11th Street project, that they backed their loan and they would get it back in funds. So I don't know if that's in that equation. I don't think it is.
Well, it has been discussed at this meeting. Bichette brought this up, that the Michigan City Sanitary District has received numerous grants from the Redevelopment Commission for various projects in the city of Michigan City.
That's what Paul's saying. I mean, they have enough money. If they don't have enough money to pay for the whole need they have, then how about pay for half of it and reduce the increase by half? Because we have the money coming in, and we could loan it or give it to, just like we did, that's what I said.
Well, it would be a grant.
Well, just like we did to the fire station, we built those. Just like we did when we bought fire engines, the redevelopment district bought those, right? Just like the redevelopment gave body cameras and flock systems to the police. We could do that with the water and the sewer district.
Well, certainly.
And decrease the bond amount that they need, because people need to save some money.
Because if you make a bond, you're obligated for the interest on that bond, which continues to compound the problem. The Michigan City Redevelopment Commission, in my mind, is obligated, as it currently stands, to exist until 2048.
Because if we go to the bond, that interest money, which is sizable, is never going into the ground. It's gone.
Well, here's how to look at this, is that there comes a point in time where you gotta cash out them bonds. You gotta look at paying them off, and with dragging it on. And that's what they haven't done.
Well, if you
They
cash out the
haven't been-
bonds,
they-
then by law, they have to disband.
Well, I don't mean that. I meant that they need to be more solvent. They need to have, terminate some of this
And those
stuff.
bonds
You're giving them,
We're paying interest to somebody.
right. So you got some of these, I'm trying to figure out the City of Michigan City Building Corporation, a mixed-use transit, of a payment of $1 million a year. So I don't know, is that they did something with the station that they're building? And then you got the double track project, another, 714,000. Then you got the Ohio Street project, which ended right at 20. They're paying out $1,131,000 a year, and you have some smaller ones, and I'm really trying to figure this out. This must be the partial payment for the tunnel of $753,800.
Yeah.
And
Still
they
paying
got-
on the tunnel.
Yeah, they got to pay on that for 2 more years. So why don't you just take some of that money and pay it off? But I'm just,
I remember, maybe you can help me. If I remember correctly, that when Chuck Overly was mayor, and I believe Al Wallace was sanitary foreman, Chuck Overly as mayor told them to pay some bonds off early and get it off our books. And he paid them off. He took the money, he paid them off, so there was no more payments to be saddled with. And that was pretty impressive for Mayor Overly at the time. And maybe we need to take some of these ones that we have and pay them off.
Now, you said this is 2024.
Yeah.
Can we get updates?
I looked on the
Through
State
Gateway?
Board of Accounts, and this was the latest one I found.
What about through Gateway? Because
That's
again,
where I was at. I was
oh,
in
you were at Gateway.
I was at
Okay.
Gateway.
Yeah.
Looking for the latest revision.
So, all right.
Because Bob
Okay,
always
so-
wanted to know how much bonding does the sanitary district hold right now? Because Michael Cuss bonded us to the limit to fix and separate our sewer and water. And
Right.
now we're hearing, and you guys are hearing the same thing, that we don't have the ability to bond because we don't have any revenue.
No credibility.
Well, then how did Michael Cuss go to the state revolving fund and bond what he did? The revenue hasn't changed.
I think you got to look at that. The piece of paper that you brought in is that if you look at their general obligation bonds, look at some of this stuff. Ohio Street, $5 million. Wabash Streetscape, $1 million a year.
And that was a long time ago.
They're still doing it.
Well, we're getting down to the last 5
Okay.
minutes, but getting back to, I believe the picture is becoming more and more clearer that the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission is involved in a deficit spending concept. Based on these figures, they're spending more money than they're taking in.
They're obligated to a
They're
lot more money
obligated to
than-
pay it out, and that was the whole, I believe, the whole idea of making Michigan City one big tip zone.
Yeah.
So we can,
Yeah.
screw the school system, screw the county, and
Police and fire.
because we need that. This is
Yeah.
a big,
It's a bigger,
big financial
and you got
scale.
you got the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission on a monthly basis perpetuating a deficit spending concept in my mind. They're spending more money than they're taking in on all of these, unless the information you've got here isn't factual.
That's State Board of Accounts.
No, well, we can't believe the State Board of Accounts. We believe Skylar York and what's his guy's name, Clarence Holtz, and we got to believe the local yokels because they know what the hell's going on.
I would say if, but it's more like when these fee increases come. When do they hit? This year?
Oh,
Next
they
year?
want to be activated this year on the sanitary district right away, man, in September.
The fall of 26, a 39.7% rate increase
So
will
this
take
will be in
effect.
effect during next year's election. Okay.
Yeah,
Good luck.
but here's the whole thing, is I can't believe, here's one point I want to make. They spent more time on talking about a smoking ordinance on and more energy, all right, than they have even talking or wanting to talk about any of these rate increases. And to me, is that as the fiduciary body,
Look at that document.
they
How long did
got
it take to create that?
they got more.
It's beautiful.
They've got more baloney in there than you can even get a piece of bread for. Okay, so the thing is, call your council people. We are not giving you a bunch of baloney sausage. We are giving you the truth here, and these people need to be held accountable. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you for coming, Paul. Again, Paul.
My pleasure.
Paul has provided an additional support mechanism for what he sees. We didn't tell him to bring to come in and badger us with miscellaneous facts. He sees a lot of stuff, and his nose is closer to the grindstone than mine. We're getting down to the last
And
2
he
minutes.
has gone to these meetings and workshops on his own dime. He has asked for information on his own. And he's tough, but you've received it. Well, I like it.
Again, I had an opportunity to serve
Thank you.
with his old man on the city council, and yeah, Stan, he carried a big stick, and again, the majority of that city council was Ramian Stahoviak, Evelyn Baker, Al Whitlow. The only two people left from the city council is Art Payne and myself, from serving with your old man, you know. And again, there was an impetus back then to move the city forward, but it went on deaf ears, I guess.
Could I make one?
Yeah, we got a minute to go, so we got a few seconds.
You know what Dave's saying that is that I served with my dad for 6 months, all right? And on the first meeting that we went to, we drove up to City Hall. My father said, Paul, don't worry about which way you vote. If I vote one way and you don't think you should, vote the way you think you should. But always remember, do the right thing. You're elected for the people. And that's always been the way I look at things.
And again, Paul, thank you for being here.
Thanks
We
for having
appreciate your comments. And in my closing statement, I want to thank everybody for watching. Your input as to improvements or criticism of this program is greatly appreciated. Please contact Show's Tribe co-producers Bob Pollock, Dave Bila, or Tony Hendricks with your comments. You can email Bob at skrpollock@gmail.com. That is if he comes back from LaPorte, or he might still be alongside of the road, drenched in rain because his convertible top doesn't want to work.
I'm looking for him.
DJ Bila at djbila1@hotmail.com, or Tony at emailagm@yahoo.com. Or you may direct any ideas for any future shows to our one and only staff writer, Sarah Bellum. The showing of our program will be Saturday morning at 10 a.m., also Monday and Thursday evening at 7 p.m. on Channel 99, and numerous times on Channel 99 when Andy has some dead air to fill. You may also enjoy watching our program on our YouTube channel, 99 Navigate News and Views. Don't forget the railroads. Don't forget Deja Vu. Take the time to smell the roses and make it a good day.